Okay, we're going to be talking about long division again today, and I'm going to show you some synthetic division. We did a couple of examples yesterday in the notes with your long division, but I wanted to do one more like this one before we look at example 30. Okay, so if you want to jot this down somewhere, you can. If you don't want to, that's fine, but do please pay attention as we go through this. Okay, so we're going to use long division on this one. So we have 3x minus 7 and this cubic. All right, so first thing is we're going to put something here. We want to multiply it times 3x, and we need it, to match 9x cubed. Okay, so what we're going to put there is 3x squared. Okay, so I'm going to take the 3x squared, I'm going to multiply it times 3x minus 7. This is going to get distributed. So 9x cubed minus 21x squared. Okay, now remember, we're going to subtract. Okay, so this is going to get subtracted. When we do that, I'm going to change the sign. So I'm going to change this to add. This is going to go negative. This is going to go positive. All right, now remember, when you add these together, these first two terms need to cancel each other out. If they don't cancel each other out, there's a mistake somewhere. Okay, so now I have negative 12 plus a positive 21x squared. So that's going to be 9x squared. Okay, so now bring down your next term. So this minus 18x is going to come down, go back up to the top. So I need something to multiply times 3x to equal 9x squared. Okay, so that's going to be a 3x. Okay, again, I'm going to multiply that. So 3x times 3x minus 7. So 9x squared minus 21x. So 9x squared minus 21x. Okay, now remember, we're going to subtract. So I'm going to subtract all of this, and I'm going to change my signs. So it goes plus, this is going to go negative, this one's going to go plus. Those first terms are going to cancel out. And then negative 18x plus 21x, that's going to be a 3x. Okay, so last time here, you're going to bring down your minus 9. And we're going to go one more time. So what times 3x gives you 3x? Well, it's going to be 1. So 1 times 3x minus 7. So subtract. I'm going to change my signs again. So that goes plus, this goes negative, this is going to go plus. Those cancel out. Negative 9 plus 7, negative 2. So there's my remainder. Okay. So to write my answer, it's going to be 3x squared plus 3x plus 1. And my remainder is plus a negative 2 over 3x minus 7. Okay, now if you want to, you could say minus 2 over 3x minus 7. That's fine, same thing. Okay, so I wanted to show you that again. Now let's go back to your regular notes. Okay, so number 30, I skipped this one yesterday, and the reason I did is if you look at what you're dividing by, you are dividing by a quadratic on this one. Okay, the couple three examples we've done so far, you have just been dividing by a linear term, okay, not a quadratic. All right, but it works exactly the same way. Nothing is going to change. Okay, so I got x squared plus 2x minus 1 And that divides into, okay, now there's something else on this one. If you notice right here, we've got a quartic term, fourth power, third power. We're missing the second power, and we go to the first power. So we need to put in a placeholder there. So that's going to be a 0x squared plus x minus 1. Okay. All right. So now, same thing. I'm looking for something that's going to go here so that when I multiply times x squared, it needs to match that 2x to the fourth. Okay. So, all right. So we need a 2x squared. Okay, so this 2x squared times x squared plus 2x minus 1. So I'm going to distribute. So this is going to be 2x to the fourth plus 4x cubed minus 2x squared. Okay, so 2x to the fourth plus 4x cubed minus 2x squared. Okay, this is going to get subtracted. So I'm going to subtract this. I'm going to change my signs. So this is going to go plus, negative, negative, plus. Okay, again, those first terms should be opposites. They're going to cancel each other out. Now, x cubed plus a negative 4x cubed. So that's going to be a negative 3x cubed. 0 plus 2, so that's a 2x squared. And you're going to bring down your next term. You're going to bring down an x. Okay, so same thing. I need something. Multiply it times this first term and make it match a negative 3x cubed. So it's going to be a negative 3x. Okay, so negative 3x. Going to distribute. This gets distributed, so negative 3x cubed minus 6x squared plus 3x. So that's what goes under here. Okay, you are going to subtract that whole thing, which means I want to go through and change my sign. So that's going to go plus, positive, positive. That one will go negative. Again, those two first terms cancel each other out. And now add what you have left. So 8x squared. And that'll be a minus 2x. Okay, this is going to be the last time through. So we're going to bring down this minus 1. Okay, so last time. So go back up top. Something times x squared needs to equal 8x squared. Okay, well, I'm going to go 8. So 8 times that. If you can do this step in your head and you don't need to write it down, that's fine. I write it down. I don't want to make a silly mistake by like messing up a sign or something. Okay. All right, so subtract. So all of this gets subtracted. I'm going to go through and change my sign. So that'll go plus, let's go negative, negative, plus. Again, those first two terms are going to cancel each other out. It's going to be a negative 18x plus 7. Okay, and this is your remainder. Okay, now on the other ones we did, we just had a value that was a remainder, a constant. Okay, but this time, because we're dividing by this quadratic, your remainder could be something linear. All right, so my answer to this one is 2x squared minus 3x plus 8, and then this is my remainder. So I'm going to go plus, I'm going to go negative 18x plus 7 divided by x squared plus 2x minus 1. Okay, and that is your solution. Okay, so that is a review over what we talked about yesterday with long division. Again, do not rush through doing the long division. There are just too many places to make mistakes. Just missing a negative sign will throw the whole thing off. Okay, so go slowly, write clearly. You don't want to misread your own writing and make a silly mistake like that. And you can work through it. So just go one step at a time. Okay, so that's long division. Now, we can do the same thing using synthetic division. So before we went on break, I showed you how to use synthetic division, and we used it to actually find a value. So that's one purpose for synthetic division. However, another purpose is that we can do same kind of thing as our long division. Okay, so I'll show you how that works. Okay, so when we set up our synthetic division, okay, remember we put our number in our little corner here. All right, so where does that number come from? Well, we're dividing by this x plus 3. So you're going to put x plus 3 equal to 0. Okay, to solve this, I move my 3 over 3, or x equals negative 3. That is what's going to go in my corner, negative 3. Okay, then my first row here are coefficients from my polynomial. So this time we have a cubic. So it's an x cubed. Well, that coefficient would be a 1. So it's a 1 plus 4x squared. So take the 4, that's your coefficient, minus x. So that's going to be a minus 1. And then another minus 1. Okay, so 1 comes down. We're going to multiply. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Add, multiply, add, multiply, add. Okay, so what does this say? Well, this first row are the coefficients from that cubic, right? So that's where those numbers came from. 1x cubed plus 4x squared minus 1x minus 1. Okay, that's where those coefficients came from. So we divided by a linear term, x plus 3. So if I take an x cubed, divide it by an x, that takes you down to a quadratic. Okay, so this becomes the coefficients for a quadratic expression. So what this says is 1x squared plus 1x minus 4. And right here, this 11 is your remainder. Okay, that 11 is your remainder. So we're going to say plus 11 over x plus 3. Okay, so that is your solution. Okay, we could do the same thing using long division. And in a couple of the classes yesterday, I did do that. So I did this one with the long division. Okay, and we got the same thing. We had that factor or a remainder of 11. Okay, so let's do, well, I'm going to stop this video and then I'm going to start a new one for the second part of this lesson, and we'll finish out what we want to talk about today.